Welcome to Ngosi Talk Shows. Lead from within.
Find your own voice.
Challenges we have had to overcome in 2020.
Find your own voice.
The world has become united by the unseen, knowing there are no guarantees for tomorrow.
Lead from within.
Find your own voice.
Let the world hear your voice and be filled within.
For the day has come for you to be a great leader.
The time has come to break away from the pain, distraction, experience the unthinkable.
Welcome to Ngosi Talk Shows, everyone. My name is Clara Minde. I'm the founder of Hope Spring Eternal Introduction Agency, and I am your love harmonist and the founder of Ngosi Talk Shows. So with me today, I have Carol Ann Cooper and Amanda Murray. By the way, why did you change your surname?
Because of my job as a teacher on Facebook, I just changed it to Amanda Marie, and everything else is still Amanda Patrol.
Okay. I was looking for you, and I was like, Amanda has unfriended me, and I was like, then you came up. I kept typing and kept looking. I couldn't find Amanda Cotell. Over to
No, it's
you.
just for privacy on my Facebook, but yeah, that's why. And Marie's my middle name.
I see. Okay. Introduce yourself, Amanda, please.
My name's Amanda Cottrell. I am a teacher, an author, and an illustrator, and I help people find their own unique creative capacities within themselves through mindfulness and through yoga. And I love to help people learn and explore, and I'm so excited to be here.
Over to you, Carol Ann. Please introduce yourself to our audience.
I keep pressing it and I mute myself and then I'm muting. Anyway, good afternoon from London, UK. And as the writing facilitator, what I do is I assist women in becoming more productive with their writing by helping them to connect with their deeper innate ability to write and to let go of the echo that's always in their head about writing a book, so that they can unlock that writer within, let go of that echo, and have a clear voice by getting their book written. Because you cannot publish what isn't written. And all of that has come about through my own journey of unlocking the writer within. So I'm Carol Ann, the writing facilitator.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Carol Ann. So our topic today is letting go of what we cannot control. Amanda, you chose this topic, and I would love to know. I know sometimes we tend to hold on to our past, we hold on to places, we hold on to people that we've dated, and we hold on to our friends that we've met and those who have hurt us, and we don't want to let them go in our heart, and we end up getting hurt through stress, depression, because it is hard. Sometimes it can be hard to basically to let things go. And I would love to know, why did you choose this topic?
Well, I chose this topic because I've been reflecting a lot on things that have been going on in the world and what you can't control, but also about personal lives, because exactly what you're talking about, Nomza, with relationships, because I have a friend who's going through a very awful divorce right now, and they're just so frustrated and so, like, angry that they can't get through, um, to the other person to get them to sign the documents and those sort of things. And I keep saying to them, you've got to let that go. All you can do is control yourself. All you can do is focus on you and focus on enjoying the life that you have, and focus on what you can find joy in, and what you can't control what they're going to do. You can't control if they're going to sign your documents. You can't control how they're going to treat your child or your children in the other home. You have to just focus on what you can focus on, and what happens in your own home. Because even though, like, even you're like, if you're thinking like, oh, it'll just be better as soon as they sign those documents, or as soon as this happens, as soon as I get that new job, things are going to be better. But until you change what's going on inside, the outside world isn't going to change. And so you have to let go of those things that you can't control on the outside, because what's really causing some of those things to happen on the outside is what's going on within. And even in my own life, I've learned, because I like have so much empathy for what my friend is going through, because I lived that. I lived that 8 years ago, and I keep saying, like, all I can do, even now, it doesn't stop. The like frustration and the like, you can go back into that like angry puddle of frustration and anger at any point in time. And I'm like, the frustration doesn't stop. Like, even this weekend, my ex-husband did something that really, really frustrated me to my daughter. And I was like, I didn't react to him. I just focused on her and what I could do to support her, because that's all I have control over. I don't have control over what he says or what he does or how he behaves. I only have control over me and what happens in my home. And so, and how I can support my daughter. I actually don't even have control over my daughter, to like be honest. I can't make her get in the shower. I can like try to con her to get in the shower, but in the end, really, she has the ultimate control over that. And so there's like things that even as parents we have to let go of, where sometimes we're like trying to get our kids to clean their room. That's my frustration with my 11-year-old right now. It's like, clean your room, pick up after yourself. It's like she leaves a trail everywhere, and I can't control that. I can only control me. So I've been trying to find better strategies to support her in getting what I need, where it's to pick up after herself, and getting what she needs, where it's her own self-expression. And so I think there's so many things in our lives that when we can't control them, we try to do everything that we possibly can to get our control back, when really the only thing we have control of it is ourselves and our own reaction. And I think that's something that sometimes people get like completely overwhelmed and completely end up an anxious mess, because they are trying to fix or change or adjust what other people are doing. And especially if you've had a family member or a friend or something who's an alcoholic, you're like, bang your head against the wall going like, why won't they just stop? But really all you can do is control and take care of yourself. And so that's why I picked this topic for today.
Oops. I love it. What you were saying about you can't control others, because it's very true. The only person you can control is yourself, and how you behave and react to situations. And there's a lovely quote by Steve Maraboli. The truth is, unless you let go, unless you forgive yourself, unless you forgive the situation, unless you realize that the situation is over, you cannot move forward. And it just holds you stuck. And I just, my eyes went to reading that again just now as you were talking. And I can feel the emotion, because what it brought up in the memory, it brought up for me was that moment. And I'm not quite sure where the where that emotion's coming from around it. Was that moment that I let go of my marriage. That moment I realized I just had to let go. And actually, having done that, once I took that step, it was like, wow, there was a decision was made and I was able to move forward. But it's like you're constantly thinking, no, I need to hold on to this. I need to sort it out. And you hold on, even though you know that things are over. And actually, the best way forward is just to let go. And something else, another quote that I saw this morning: we can't be afraid of change. You may feel very secure in the pond that you are in, but if you never venture out of it, you will never know that there is such a thing as an ocean, a sea. Holding on to something that is good for you now may be the very reason why you don't have something better. And so it is just opening up your mind to the fact that what are the reasons you're holding on? For what reason can you not let go? And just go through that. Well, what's the worst that could happen if I did let go? And then what's the worst that could happen? I keep going into, well, what's the worst that could happen? And explore that. And then ask yourself the question, well, what's the best that could happen if I let go? And then what's the best that could happen? I keep asking that question. And just get that balance and feel for, something is going to happen if you let go. And life will change. There's no two ways about it. And it's recognizing what your fear is about the change that's going to happen. Are you really fearful about all those worst case scenarios that could happen? Are you living into that? Or are you focusing on, well, actually, the best that could happen? And recognizing that actually the holding on creates that tension and weight inside of you. If you just let it go, breathe into it and let it go, and just feel the relaxation that's there, the lift of mood that you can have, the release that happens. And I wonder how many of our audience have actually, experienced that letting go, or how many are still holding on and there's something that they're fearful of. Just recognize what you're fearful of and work with that. So, yeah, it's a great topic, because I remember when I first started training in brain gym in educational kinesiology, one of the trainings to become an educational kinesiologist was something called vision circles. And one of the circles that we looked at, one of the activities was about letting go. And all we had to do, we had hold of a pencil, not a pen, but it was a pen or a pencil. And we literally had to let go. And I couldn't physically let go, because that represented something. We'd set a goal. And so we did some activities called Vision Gym. And afterwards, I just let go. And the way I was around that goal completely changed. So again, represent a pen or pencil with whatever it is you can't let go of, and physically attempt to let go of it. Feel what that feels like. And then just put that down. Maybe go and do some meditation. Go for a walk. Maybe do some tapping. Look up, emotional freedom technique. and do some tapping on it. I've shared some before with you about it. And then come back and physically let go of that pen and see what changes. Because by doing those activities, you actually start to recognize what is happening in the physical body. So you can actually release it in the physical body as well. So it takes something to let go. And it is recognizing that the only control you have, as Amanda was saying, is over yourself and your thoughts, your behavior. So, yeah, I love that the topic is something that, wow, I think we all at different levels need to let go of something. And it's, you let go of something and then something else comes up that you need to let go of. And it's just a constant journey. But it's welcoming and embracing the journey. What about you, Nomsa? Anything you need to let go of?
Yes, I have had to let go of so many things in my life and people and places in my life, and I no longer hold things in my heart anymore. But I used to. 10 years ago, I used to hold on to pain, hold on to those who have hurt me, hold on to people that have died, have passed. It was so hard to let it go. Like my father and my stepdad, and my stepmom died in the right place. I had learned how to let go, so it was easy for me to let her go. But for those who passed like 2005, 7, 6, 8, it was hard for me to let my family go because those were the people that I had spent all my life with, my aunties, my grandparents, and suddenly they're gone. So I find it really hard to let it go, even though sometimes people will speak to me and say, oh, they're gone and stuff. But I'll feel like, why do you want me to let them go? Until I actually had to learn to pray, I had to learn to meditate. And just one day, I just felt like by letting go of that pain, it came with a price as well. So I had to let it go. And the people that I have dated, those who have hurt me, I was like, why would you do this to me? You're so hard to let it go. When the pain, you're like, somebody tells you that, you know what? I think we need to end this. It's not me. It's not you, Nomsa. It's me. And you just get angry. You get angry. You're like, why are you doing this to me? But at the time, I couldn't understand that when somebody ends a relationship, it means that they have not figured themselves out. And actually, it comes as a blessing because they could waste your time. But if somebody has the courage to say, you know what, I don't think that I am what you want, and I think it is actually a blessing because if you hold on, but at the time I hadn't learned to let it go, like Amanda was saying about your friends that are going through so much pain at this moment, going through divorce. Going through something like that is very, very painful, even if you have met someone for 2 days or 3 days. And if it's just that attachment that we choose to attach ourselves with people, and it's hard to let it go. And divorce is so painful because uh, you basically build your life together with that person, and you get to build a friendship with their families and visit places. They become part of you, so to let them go is it can be hard. But before now, I've learned to, I always pray to God to crucify my flesh, because if I live in the flesh, that means I'm actually gonna hold on to things that don't save me anymore. And I used to do that, and I used to basically hold my life. It's a stronghold. When you actually hold on to something that don't save you, it's a stronghold. Even Carol Ann, you say to yourself that until you realize the situation is over. You can't control it. You can't control anything. We don't have control. Amanda, you mentioned that when the words that your ex-husband speaks to your child, you don't have control over them. And that is so true, that there are some things that we don't have control, but we can actually sit down with our children and explain to them. I always tell my children that just because I'm an adult, it doesn't mean I'll figure everything out. I'm learning. I basically, sometimes I might say the wrong things. So it doesn't mean that I figured everything out. I tell them that I'm learning with God, I'm walking with God. He's correcting me along the way. And I might make mistake with you guys. You don't have to, when you're older, and say, oh, she used to make me do this. I'm like, I'm going to be very clear today that when you guys are older, don't hold on to anger and say, I'm this who I am because of my mom. I'm like, I'm learning myself. I'm a mother. I'm not perfect. So you got to understand that every journey that I'm taking, God is with me. And every mistake that I make, I'm a human being. If I do make mistakes, you guys are going to have to forgive me, because forgiveness is everything. Forgiveness releases you from pain. Forgiveness, it helps you to actually move on and find opportunities. And when you are holding on to something, for me, that is a stagnation, that is a stronghold. And I used to hold my life big time. And if friends, like people come in, and if they decide they wanted to move to another town, I'll get hurt. But now I come to a realization that people come to our lives to do so. There's a part that they're there to play. Once that part is finished, they have to move on. You have to let them go. So that's what I do now, that I don't hold on to anything. I was in church the other day, and somebody came to me and was like, Nomsa, you were so loud today. And you were really, really vocal. And I was like, have you just heard me? I'm always loud every week. It's because I've been through so much. So I'm agreeing with the pain that I don't want to go back to that pain where I've been, where I don't speak up. And I'm saying to God, God, if you're here to bless anyone, let it be me. Anyone else who don't speak up for themselves, oh no, I'm speaking for myself. I'm letting go of pain, because I used to hold on to so much pain, Amanda and Carol Ann, and it was so painful. But I've learned it the hard way to let it go. Over to you, Amanda.
I think that so much of the way that we react to things, or trying to let go of those patterns that we grew up with. There's an echo again. Are you guys muted? And so I think that one of the things that we need to like learn and do, and this is something that I've watched people do, is they're they're in the same place as they were a year ago because they're having the exact same argument with their ex-husband or whatever. I'm speaking of this one, or two different people that I know who are basically in the exact same spot that they were a year ago, so frustrated and so angry about their divorce. And I said, like, you've got to stop changing the way that you react to them, because I read this book called 123 Magic, and it's really about helping your kids and not yelling at your kids and not getting frustrated with your kids. And one thing that really stood out to me in that book was, if you get to the point where you blow up and you start yelling at your kids, you've given all your power away, because they are waiting for you to lose it. And then in that instant, you have lost your power and you've given it all to them. And that was like a, oh my goodness moment for me, because it was like, I never understood why I would ask my daughter, can you please, like, okay, it's time to go. Okay, it's time to go. Okay, it's time to get in the car. That's the point where she'd get in the car. And I was like, why is it that it takes till I lose my mind for her to get in the car? And then I read that book and I was like, oh, that's why, because she's waiting for me to lose it so that I give her my power, and then she knows that she still controls me. And I was like, that book just like blew my mind. And so now I've like taken that into other parts of my life, and I tell that to people, and I say, if your ex or your husband or whatever is pushing you to the point, because people want a reaction. They don't like, especially I've read a whole bunch about narcissism too. Narcissists don't care what type of attention they're getting, whether it's positive or negative. They just seek that attention. And so same with our children. They don't necessarily correlate with the positive or negative attention. They just are searching for that attention. So if you keep giving them that negative attention in the same way and you don't change their pattern, your pattern, you're going to continuously have to get to that point where you yell in order to get your child. But really you're giving your power to them. So I keep saying to my friends, and like, you need to change how you're reacting. If your ex is driving you insane and making you so frustrated, don't get on the phone and text them back really angrily right away. Like, maybe only communicate through email and only communicate about your children, and otherwise only deal with the lawyers. That's it. That's all. Don't communicate, because it's spiraling you. And instead of getting back and doing the same pattern of anger back and forth and making it ruin your entire day, go for a walk with a friend. Tell them your anger and like get it out so that you're not giving that other person the satisfaction of knowing that they're getting it under your skin and knowing that they've ruined your day. Because the only person who has control of ruining your day is yourself. You have control over whether or not those person's actions are going to ruin your day. You can be frustrated and angry for a few minutes and then be like, nope, I'm going to deal with this in a better way. I'm going to go for a run. I'm going to go for yoga. I'm going to go for a drink, not a drink with a friend and just like unwind. I'm going to do something that breaks me out of that pattern of responding and reacting to them. Because when I respond and react in a negative way, I'm giving away my power. And that's what I don't want to do. And so I've been trying to implement that in so many areas of my life, is not react, take a step back. And because when we get in that flooded, angry state, we're going from the reptilian part of our brain. We're not even in the thinking stage of our brain. And if we get into that heightened state constantly, then it's really hard to get out of it. And so we want to get to that logical reasoning part of our brain when we do respond. So maybe don't respond for 24 hours or something like that, so that you are giving it time. You're not responding angrily, and you're only focusing on what you can control.
Absolutely. Take a step back. It is about recognizing where you want to, and it's a reaction. It's not even a response, it's a reaction. And you want to right back in that anger or that frustration. And it's about recognizing the reaction that is there. And as you say, yes, it's in that reptilian part of your brain. You're in the brainstem, and it's that part that controls you. And taking a step back, taking a breath, giving it some time, as you say, you might go for a walk, allows for you to then release the emotional aspect and move up into that higher cortex where you've got clear, rational thought. And then you can respond in an appropriate way, because you actually have access to reasoning and language in that part of your brain. And so you can respond, and your response won't then fuel further angry reactions, because you're coming from your heart. You're coming much more from a place of love and authenticity. And it is about loving yourself and giving yourself that time and space to really reflect and go, okay, what was said? What just happened here? And breathe into it, let it go, give it time, and then go, okay, so what is it I actually want to say and reply or need to say? Do I need to say anything? You know, and really think rationally and carefully about that response. So again, that changes the pattern, because it is recognizing, as you say, that repeat pattern that we can get into. And yes, a year later and you're still in that pattern. Really? Wake up. Start recognizing when you're in that pattern. And it can go for the same for when you're in business. And I know, just hearing what you said then about people in the same place as a year ago, I'm thinking...
I was talking to you, Carol Ann, sorry.
Sorry?
Samba, she's talking. Is it she? Talking to you. She loves the conversation. I can't type because the messages don't go through LinkedIn, so you have to respond.
Beautiful. Okay, thank you. So yeah, if you'd like to add into the conversation, anything, your thoughts as well, we'd love to hear from it. I can hear an echo. That's lovely. Okay. So same place as a year ago. What got me thinking in that moment when Amanda said that, it may not necessarily be a relationship that you're in the same place as, but there's something in your business. And I started thinking, oh, there's the same conversation that I seem to have with a few friends of mine. You know, we're in business, we're working together, we're attempting to build our business. And I go, no, we're still having the same conversation. We're still having the same conversation. What needs to change here? There's something that we need to do differently. There's something we need to wake up to. What is it that's holding us in this space of having that same conversation? Again, it's that safety zone, that comfort zone. It's what we know. And it's being able to push that boundary, that comfort zone boundary, expand it, and find something new that you can step into that will then change everything. But again, it's as I was talking about later, things will change. So it's looking at, well, what are you fearful of? And sometimes when you change, yes, everything around you changes, and people can just float away. And sometimes there's that fear of, well, am I going to be left on my own? Are they not going to like where I'm going? All sorts of conversations that go around in your head. Those limiting beliefs, you need to let go of them, because they're what's holding you back. They're keeping you in that same zone. And letting go means to come to the realization that some people are a part of your history, but not a part of your destiny. So, you know, sometimes we need to make that tough decision. Do I need to step away from where I'm at? Move on, even if it does mean that I leave people behind? Or it could be that you move forward with your business and you're leading the way that actually allows them to come on behind, because maybe they are part of your destiny. Who knows? But it's letting go. It's being willing to let go and take that step, and maybe be the first one to do something different and lead the way. If they don't join you, let it go. Because ultimately, Where is it that you want to be? And does that then give you another sense of freedom? It's like, oh, I didn't realize that was holding me down, weighing me down. But until you let go, you don't realize actually what is weighing you down and how heavy that weight can be. So maybe there's some affirmations that you'd like to create around the situation that would help. Recognize what you're telling yourself that holds you in that space. Like maybe it's like, oh, I'm not a leader. Well, how about what if you started saying to yourself, well, I am a leader. And in what ways could I be leading? And say, I am a leader. Take it on and let yourself take those steps and lead, rather than sitting back and no, I have to wait for everybody else. I have to wait for someone else to lead the way. Really? Listen to that limiting belief. I have to wait for someone else to show me the way. That in itself is an affirmation. And if you keep telling yourself that, guess what? That's what you're going to end up keep doing. Waiting, waiting, waiting. Change that pattern, shift it. Oh, I am a leader. I can show the way. Maybe they're waiting as well. Maybe they've got the same conversation going on in their head. And all of you are waiting, waiting for someone to show the way. So what would it take for you to let go of that story and create a new story and a new affirmation? What could you be leading the way to? And who knows? As I said earlier, there's an ocean, there's a sea out there. There's a whole world of possibilities. What's it going to take for you just turn the handle, open the door and go, wow, I can be the one to open the door. I can be the one to step through and lead the way. And something happened yesterday that really highlighted this whole thing about you know, waiting or listening to other people that could stop you. A friend of mine and I, we'd gone down to Eastbourne for the day to meet, have a meeting, do some work together, but we wanted a different environment to work in. And she'd thought of a place that we could go to, a particular pub. She'd asked what bus would take us there. And we got on this particular bus and this guy said, oh no, you need to get off at this particular stop. So we stopped at this stop, which was on the top of the downs. And he said, you need to take that footpath there, which was a footpath across the downs. He said, it's only about 10-15 minutes. There's another lady in the bus said, oh, it's a long walk. It's a really long walk. I had no idea. So I said to the driver, I said, well, actually, how long? He said, and I'd actually looked at the footpath and, you know, going over the downs, and part of me went, oh, I can't possibly do that. So I had a heavy overcoat on and I had a couple of bags. And then he said, well, it's not that far. I said, well, is that a brisk walk or is that just a steady, you know, saunter? He said, oh no, it's just 15 minutes. It's just a steady walk. And it wasn't until afterwards I realized that he said what I needed to hear, because I went, oh, okay, let's do it then. And we got off the bus there in the middle of nowhere and started walking across the downs. And it was hard work, so I kept having to stop, get my breath, and but we just walked, and we got, as we were walking up, we got to the top bit, and what opened up was this absolutely gorgeous view of the sea, of the town. And I went, oh my goodness, look at what we very nearly missed. If we hadn't come up here, we would have missed this view. The beautiful breeze of the the wind that was there, it was just glorious. And also something that I have felt that I haven't been able to do for a long time, and I've been wanting to do, is actually go up on the downs, up on in the countryside, and go for a walk. And I've often seen people doing it thinking, oh, I can't do that anymore. I found myself up there. And okay, we met someone else on the way who said, oh, actually, it's about an hour and a half walk. You'd be better off getting a bus and going back into town. And you know, we did. We ended up turning around, going back and getting a bus into town. But we had an adventure. But what it made me realize was that in that moment of just going, okay, let's do it, we had the most amazing moment of seeing that vision. We got up a bit higher and just sat and really enjoyed that moment. So who knows? Who knows what can open up for you? So, Nomsa.
Yeah, that is so true. You have to let the doors of opportunities come your way and let go of what you think you know. And look at you, Carol Ann, you ended up seeing a beautiful view. That's amazing. That's really, really amazing. And you spoke about the responder, how we respond to the situation. And Amanda said we need to focus on what we cannot control. I think that's the right way to put it. Basically, there's no other way. You have to focus on the things that you can control. For me, basically, there are things that I basically say, God, I can't do this. You can help me, but I can't do this on my own. I cannot control. And there are some situations that sometimes I find myself in. Like yesterday, I had a meeting with someone, and they made me realize when it comes to business. And she was like, I need you to focus on this. I need you to focus on this. And basically, when somebody tells you, and she was like, you need to do this, you need to focus on this. If that's what you're going to be, that's what you want to be, you need to focus on this. You need to stay there, stay focused. And I was like, okay, it did make sense to me when somebody tells me that I need to focus on one thing, because we seems to think we can be everywhere at the same time, but unfortunately we can't. And when it comes to business, there are things that there are people that you can save. There are some people that you can save. And I had my cheapest membership that basically, and she told me to get it out. So basically, I have not got it out yet because I'm holding on to it. I'm holding on to that membership with the Hope Springs Eternal Introduction Agency. So she told me to get it out. Basically, I cannot save that membership. It means somebody who earns 40 grand or 50 grand can afford to use my service. So she told me you need to get it out. It doesn't belong here. And I've been holding on to it for a very, very long time. So I think now it's time I'm going to have to drop the pain, Carol Ann, and let it go. I'm going to have to let it go and accept that that's who I want to, the people that I'm saving, basically. And because she looked at it and she was like, it doesn't go in here, but I already have a coach. And instead, I would have actually blamed my coach. And that's why sometimes it's good to ask different people for different opinion. But her opinion is basically she's working with somebody who is the best. And not Tony Robbins, not anyone. There's someone in is it Australia, a dentist who's in Australia. He is so brilliant. He's bonkers. Basically, he does what he does. Basically, is so focused on the clients, not himself. So she was showing me that this is who you need to be. But when I realized, I was like, I'm so grateful that I was able to have the courage. I don't even know how these people found me. It's like sometimes we are speaking here at Ngozi Talk Show and people find you that you don't know. I'm still figuring out how I connected with them because I can't remember. and they've invited me to their free course, and I attended it, and they asked me to basically to look at my business for free and give me some feedback. And basically she was like, no, this membership, it needs to go. You've been holding on to this, it doesn't go with what you're serving, so you're gonna have to get it out. You cannot serve you cannot serve everyone, so get it out. So my membership that was making me serve others, now I can't. And also last week, somebody from the matchmaking, basically the people that are basically the big people that are actually monitoring dating agencies, she called me and said, you've been running for over 3 years, so we want you to register with us, but you're gonna have to stop serving women for free and you're gonna have to charge them. And I was like, oh my goodness, dropping a bombshell. And she was like, yes, you have to charge them now. So I was like, okay, so that means I have to think about this and I have to drop the pen as well and start charging women. But the good news is that I can still have a free Red Book membership for people. But she told me basically I need to basically charge women as well if I'm gonna go and join. And I can't say no, because you have to earn so much to be able to join. Your company has to have a certain income, but with me they didn't ask me for that. They just said, we feel that we want you to come and join us. And that's why I need to focus with Ngozi Talk Show. I need to change as well. So I've been told I need to change. So that's what I'm doing. So the bombshell has been bombshell after bombshell. But when you are willing to change and you're willing to let go, and this is the company, the business model that I studied and began and had a relationship with it, and got to hold on to the emotions and feelings of it. But now I have to let it go. So Amanda, your topic, it came at the right time. I'm gonna have to divorce some of the decisions that I have made, and I hope your friend that is going through challenging times, and I pray that they will find strength to go on, because they do need strength. And when you have children, when it comes to divorce, you need every energy that you can get. Everything that you can get energy. Good people that don't give up on them, just pray for them, and hopefully that ask them to meditate. When you meditate, how you respond, Carol Ann was talking about how we respond in life. It would determine how we are able to move forward with our lives. So how they respond as well. And prayer is very important. I meditate in prayer basically, and it does help me. And some people meditate in different ways, and also speak to the people who have characters like you, Amanda, who've gone through divorce and still want their children to have a relationship with their fathers as well. That is another good way to actually break through those challenges. And girls, I need to pick that parcel. Any words of encouragement, Amanda, please, before we leave?
I love what you said about learn how to let go of some of the things that you've been doing in your business. And it's funny because I've had to do the same sort of things in the last couple of weeks, because I, being a teacher and what's gone on in the last couple of years, I don't want to continue to only have my finances come from teaching. I want to eventually have more of my income come from business and from multiple avenues of income. And so I actually went out and I signed up for a course so that I can have coaching and everything too. And that's way out of my comfort zone. But the only way for me to change the outcome of my life is to change what I'm doing. And so I've decided that I'm going to take that leap of faith, and I'm going to spend the $10,000, and I'm going to invest in myself, and I'm going to do what I can and learn from these specialists, so that I can then empower my life in a way that I never imagined possible. And I think, Nomza, you're so right, where you're like, oh, I don't want to let go of these things that I've been doing. But in order to get to the next level, you have to stop doing those things that have kept you in the same place. And that's the same for me in my life. I have to stop doing those things that have kept me stuck in my place, and I need to up my vibration and up my level and up my knowledge so that I can help more people and that I can expand my business and my outreach and how many people I can reach, because I think I have so many gifts to give, and I know that you do too, and I'm excited for this journey.
That's beautiful, and absolutely. And very quickly, you said something about handing over to God, Nomsa, and it is about handing it over. It's about surrendering, and surrender just means stop fighting yourself, the universe, and the natural flow of things. And when you surrender, it's about complete acceptance of what is, plus faith that all is well, even without your input. So just surrender, and know that all is well.
Thank you so much, Carol Ann, and thank you so much for those who have been watching and who will be watching later. And we are here Monday to Friday at Tangosi Talk Shows. And live with grace, everyone. God bless you. And we'll see you tomorrow. And Dr. Bigot, we're still wishing you well. I hope you get well soon. We miss you.